So whenever you're laying back, take some good breaths, huge inhales, nice exhales. Feel the body excited to be here, to get this chance to flip the perspective upside down, to get the chance to move, to stretch. And we'll take this beginning moment to connect with our intention for class today. This intention comes from a rock climbing principle, so it'll take a little bit of explanation, but the idea is sometimes in rock climbing, the holds are set up such that it kind of puts 3 of your limbs in a straight line. And then sometimes when you're in that arrangement, when you go to lift one of your limbs to reach the next hold, it does this thing where it kind of kicks you off of the wall. It's called a barn door, where you go to reach the hand up, but instead, because you're not in a wide structure, it just swings you away from the wall, and the momentum can sometimes kick you off of the wall entirely. When you get a little bit of experience, you start to learn that when you're in that arrangement, it's just natural for instance, one of your legs to stick out to the opposite side, so that when your hand reaches up for that next hold, instead of being swung open, your foot it's called flagging. When you flag that foot off to the side, when it's kind of counterbalances you, it keeps you steady on the wall. So it's almost counterintuitive for a beginner, because most beginners think of, I want to have 3 points in contact with the wall before I move my 4th point. So it's counterintuitive to just let the leg flag out to the side. But when you're in that structure, that's what keeps you stable. That's what keeps you from swinging away and losing control of your momentum entirely. So the way I wanted to kind of take that principle and liken it to ourselves in this class today is imagine if you only put your personal resources in one line, then if something kind of external to that comes, it can blow you off of the wall, blow your perspective, and bring you into a really emotionally hard state sometimes. But if instead you spread out your resources, then it's like the limbs spreading out into more of a wide shape. So think of, I go to this person or this resource for when I need spiritual help, and I go to this person and this resource when I need physical help, and I go to this person and this resource when I need emotional help, or, spreading out all your resources so that you have many different directions to draw from. And so the way that we'll be kind of playing with that principle today is, as we travel through class, we'll be making poses that make our limbs very big. We're spreading out in many directions and kind of making ourselves as big as possible, where, sometimes it's natural for us to play small and to kind of curl up into a small ball and try not to be seen. So that's the idea that we'll be playing with today, is just making ourselves a little bit bigger and spreading out. So with that idea, that little principle to get us started, begin by stretching the arms all the way to the back wall. Take a nice inhale in that long line, and exhale, lean partway to one side. Good. Inhale back to straight. And exhale, second side. We're opening up shoulders, opening ribs. Just flow with the breath like that. Because the arms are stretched back, the lungs have so much space to invite that air in. So maybe one or more huge cycles each side. And then back to long. And right knee comes into chest. Grab around that knee, do a couple of ankle rolls. That crackles and pops as we wake up the ankle. And as that feels good, extend right leg up to sky. Grab on wherever you can reach. The foot, the calf, the thigh. Let that leg try to continue extending upward. So I think of the heel trying to lift even higher than this. Huge inhale. Exhale, hook this right heel to back left. Slide the shin in. Our first chance to open up the hip. Take some huge breaths. One more good inhale. Exhale, free out right leg. Drop it all the way down. Take left knee into chest. And take a handful of ankle rolls. Okay, leg extends up to sky. Grab on, pull it in. And lifting the heel higher if possible. Getting deeper and deeper. More huge inhale. Exhale, hook the heel over to the back right, slide the shin in. A little bit of time and space for this side. One more inhale. Exhale, free out this leg. Drop it all the way down. We'll spread the arms off the back side of the fabric. And then almost like a stroke of swimming, you're pushing the fabric down to the armpits or even a little bit further down so that we can take a back bend. Hands can stay attached or you can open them up to the sides, whatever feels better. Two more breaths for the back bend. And slowly start to roll up. We'll sit up and the arms will stretch to those two straight legs. A nice counter stretch. The knees, it's natural for them to be a little bit bent because the hips are the heavy part of the fabric. So just note if you're wanting the hamstring stretch to go a little deeper, perhaps take a little bit of the bend out of the knees. Roll the right ear over to the right shoulder. Head drops heavy through center. Left ear to left shoulder. Head heavy in center. Bringing all the way back up. Kick the feet off the front. Beautiful. We're gonna invert here. So hands are behind the fabric. We're using the thumbs to help push the fabric down to about the pant line. And then lean halfway back to lock the fabric in place. Hands grab back on. Wide legs, and then tilt upside down. Wrap the ankles. So from here, we're gonna practice the prep for Vitruvian. We'll get into that later, but this will help us build that muscle memory. So do a little crunch and grab the fabric above where the feet are. Nice and high, squeeze the knees into the middle, the toes start to point forward, and then use the hands to walk up, pull yourself forward and through. Good. For this first one, we're just gonna take a slight back bend. So it's a thumbs down grip over each shoulder. Good. And then let yourself take a back. Whenever you're ready to come out, you'll start to shimmy your hips back where they were, and then just slowly lower back down to the inverted plane. Good work. The ankles can relax back to how they were, so the knees kind of release their squeezing. And here you can just hang if that feels best. You can make yourself big, either by walking the hands to different places, such as a twist, one hand at top of that, one hand at bottom of that, and then switching eventually. Or the opposite, maybe the torso stays forward, but the legs go really big like an X. So think of anything that feels good. You're welcome to explore it for a little while and take up space. Michael, just a little bit more time, so just rest. Sometimes the further forward I can shimmy the shoulders, the more it's even stretching through the back area, which that can be really nice when there's a lot of hip tightness, because sometimes it's like the back is being bullied. Those smaller muscles are kind of, pulled out of alignment. So giving it a few more breaths. And sitting up. Michael, yeah, you can stay or you can join us in the twist here. So we're gonna bunch up fabric toward front board. And then your right arm stretches to the back wall or circles around the fabric on the back side of the head. So it's setting up a twist. So you're stretching your other arm. So yeah, there you go. So it's either stretching to the back wall like it is, or grabbing the fabric on your head, just like that. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Switch sides, bunch up the fabric to back door. And this time, left arm stretches to the back wall or circles around the head. Go ahead and switch your arms. There you go. If it looks like I'm doing the opposite, it's just because I'm facing the other direction. Nice, huge inhale. Exhale. As we're releasing from the twist, we're going to face ourselves to the center of the room. So just, Michael, switch which side you're grabbing. Lock your arms straight. And then the leg that just got the hip lifted, swing that leg up and over. Good. Take each of your heels inside the fabric. You want the feet to be pretty much at the ends. So if you're not in the center, there's a little trick that'll get you more centered, which is get your feet in the right spot and then grip high, lift your hips up, and then re-extend the legs out. And as you sit back down, you should be centered. So then the arms are pushing the fabric open so that you're experiencing an inner thigh stretch. Another one of those really expansive poses, just spreading open. Slide the right hand on the right leg, left hand reaches up to sky, lean over. Rise up, and we'll switch it out. So left hand down, left leg, right arm. Good, rise back up. We're gonna prepare to stand. So get the feet inside the fabric again. So the toes even are covered. We're sliding the heels close to glutes, but then popping the knees outside the fabric. So it's kind of like a little squat frog position. So once you're in this funky squat, grab up high on fabric in front of you, and then we're coming to a toe squat. So pop the knees all the way out, the feet are underneath you. Good, free out the head. Perfect. Walk the hands up even higher, and then come up to stand. Beautiful. We're gonna face forward to take a split. So your shoulder that's closer to the front, that shoulder comes behind, and then grab onto the fabric. You're gonna face your hips forward. And then your front leg goes forward, your back leg goes back. This grip like this is pretty nice because the armpits prevent you from going too low. But that being said, if you want to go further down, you can reset your grip to be on the inside instead. It'll just take a lot more grip strength for you to stay. So either way, another really expansive pose. Go for about 3 breaths. And I think you reset your back foot, so you might want to step that foot all the way to the back end. Yeah, usually you don't want to move your feet once you come up to standing, otherwise it's not as wide of a stance. After that 3rd breath, lower onto the back knee. We're taking a piston squat to stretch our front leg. So the idea is you have to shimmy your hips backwards past the tight part of the fabric until you sit on your back foot. Good. The arms slide forward, grab for that front foot, stretching hamstring. Spine sits up. We're moving into hips. Bend the front leg so it's crossing over, kind of like a Gomukasana. The arms come out the front, dive all the way around, grab for your wrist so you've got a safety lock, and then lean forward. So nice juicy hip, glute stretch. Good. Sitting back up. Find the two front ends of the fabric and grab onto them with your hands. You got it. Sometimes it tricks you because it's like the middle. So yep, you got it. You're searching all the way for that spot. You can use that grip to help your hips lift back up and then continue to slide forward into pigeon pose. Good. So for the pigeon pose, you can either stay inside for a back bend or free out just the shoulder that's over your toes to take a sleeping pigeon. So I like this version because it keeps kind of a seat belt over my torso, and as I lean into that seat belt, it gives a shoulder stretch. So again, breathe and relax into the hip, opening. And to come out, we're going to come into that wide V sitting pose. So rock your weight onto your plank and then swivel the back knee open so that you're in that wide V sit. Arms are pressing into the fabric, so it's helping the inner thigh stretch. Sit up tall, engage the core. Good work. We have another half to do. So once again, set the feet in the right spot, really close to the ends of the fabric. This will be a spot we're not readjusting from once we get up to standing. So you're getting your feet all the way to the end. Slide the heels in close to glutes, pop the knees out. Grab high so that you can come to the toe squat. And then grab high again, coming up to stand. Good, free out the head. And you're good to go. Beautiful. So the shoulder closer to the back wall this time, swings around behind. You can either keep that armpit on top grip, so it's nice and safe to sink down into the splits, or you can readjust to the higher strength option, but it lets you go a little lower for the splits. Try to take a couple of breaths, just deep and full in and out. That next exhale finishes, lower onto the back. Shimmy your hips past the tight part of the fabric, and so you can sit on your foot, and then arms slide forward to the front foot. Getting torso up. We're stacking the knees, so swivel that foot in close to the hip. Dive both arms to the front. Circle around, grab your wrist for safety, and then lean forward. As you release your hands, sit the torso back up immediately for safety. You're locating the two ends of the fabric that are in front of you for this half. Once you've found them, use that grip to help pick the hips up and continue to slide forward into pigeon. Good. You can keep the king pigeon for the back bend or free out the shoulder that's over the toes for sleeping pigeon. Continue to relax into the hip stretch, a couple more breaths. And rock your weight onto this side's front hip. Swing the legs back open, wide feet. And then let the feet come out of each end of fabric. Fabric's back down to knees. We're letting both feet come into this fabric in front of us. So usually I'll take one hand like a stop sign to push the center of that. That helps me locate the spot to place my feet. So once I have that hand up, the opposite foot will come up first. And then once you have one foot up, it's easy to get the second foot next to the first. Good. So then slide the heels up into the hamstring stretch, however deep it can go. This is a pose that from the outside doesn't look super expansive, but from the inside being folded up into such a deep hamstring stretch can, it feels big. Let there be some good deep breaths, expansiveness through the belly, the chest, inviting in as much air as possible. You can either stay here or come into cobbler's pose. Slide the bottoms of feet to touch, the knees open. You can get as close as you'd like to pelvis. Some people go a little higher, some people a little closer. One more huge breath flows in. Nice exhale. And then both feet are freeing out the front end of the fabric. The hips are a little off center, so just shimmy them back to center. And before we exit the fabric, we're going to use the vampire to take a really big splits position. So take the one layer of fabric to completely cover shoulders like vampire. Don't get too much extra in the neck, so your elbows can kind of push some of that excess down. Good. Lay the head back. As we step the feet in, lift up the hips, so take that excess down to where the feet are if the legs straight. Good. Keep the right foot in the little blanket pocket. Left foot will be free. Left foot free out. Good. So then with the right foot covered, left foot not, bring the feet up. Press into the fabric to raise up vampire. Right foot, the one that's in that pocket, comes down to the space in front of your chest. Lower it till you can't lower it any further because it's like locked with the fabric. Yeah, no, bring it in front of your chest. Good. Until it can't go further, so a little more, a little more. Good. And then from that, it's like an anchor so that you can step your left foot all the way to the floor. I know it's like you have to trust it the first time, but you got it. And you got it. Good. So we're taking the split, so just sink your weight back. If you come to the point where you touch the back wall, hop your standing foot forward a little bit because that'll let you sink even more. It's really huge split stretch. Start to prepare to switch. So if you hopped your foot forward, you'll need to bring it right back under your hips again. And then it's like a flying pose where you step into a plank. Good. Second foot will drop down to the floor. Once you're there again, sink the weight back like splits. Breath, huge in and out. Help your foot directly under hips so you don't swing too much. Step both feet into the pocket. And then we'll try to rise directly into the vampire. So bring the hips a little bit past the shoulders. We'll try to use the core to hike the toes up together. Good work. You can either separate the feet to push into the fabric again, or keep yourself in the balance spot right there in the middle. So this will be another inversion where you can take as much time as you want to be hanging upside down, or at any point that you feel ready, you can come out again. No rush to come out, but when you are out, take some time with that recovery shape again, letting the blood pressure have a chance to flip back around. We'll start to prepare for some standing poses. So if you're wanting to be upside down for a little while, that's not any pressure to come out. But if you're joining with us, go ahead and come up to sit. I like to lift the toes up briefly and then swing forward to exit all the way out. Beautiful. Let's hook the elbows first. So walk forward and keep on walking forward. Once you can't really walk forward anymore, let the heart bow forward a little bit. Bow, whichever word is that makes more sense. Good. So the chest in that really expansive state, that's a place where we tend to collapse really easily. So let it open up. Beautiful. Walking back and free out the arms. Come all the way behind the fabric. Grip a little bit wider than shoulders. And then take a nice forward fold halfway down, L shape. This helps to kind of rebalance the spine after an arch. Just reset back to a nice neutral place. Slight bend to the knees, roll up. Step right foot directly into the fabric. The knee goes in through the center past the line of the fabric so that when you grab that heel with the left hand and slide the foot up, it the knee helps to keep the fabric in. Good. So you don't have to be parallel. It's whatever amount your hips will let you do, but then it's just an easy grip about the shoulder height, and then sink even a couple of inches forward is all it really takes to get right into that hip stretch. Work. Bring your weight back over standing leg, slip the foot to the center and slide the leg forward. Good. So we're going to be swinging the leg like a big flag, just making a huge expansive shape. So note, if you want the balance help, just keep the right hand on the fabric. If you want to play without, that's also fine. So the leg goes open and across. A few good rounds, just however wide you can get it around in both directions. Sometimes you can get some of those hip pops out. Synovial fluid building up gas and releasing the gas. Good. So the next time it's forward, stay. We're taking a twist. So the left hand either grabs the right half or pushes along the outside of the right half. That one takes more balance, obviously. The left hand, yep, good. Push it on the outside. All the way, one more. Yep, there you go. Right hand opens up to that back wall, a twist. And just note, the more the left hand pushes into the fabric, the more it lets this leg cross over the body into an IT band twist. Good. Return forward. Hop forward a little bit in front of the plumb line, just barely, like half an inch. And then open this leg out to the side. This is kind of like that barn door thing that I talked about, where your standing foot changes where this foot ends up. So if it's going too far back, you're going to hop back a little bit. If it's going too far forward, you're going to hop forward a little bit so that it just kind of stays directly at the side. And then both hands bunch up both strands. The left hand slides up, the right hand slides down. Good. It's already a good stretch, but if you want to sink it into side splits, just release some of your weight that direction. Good. Leg comes back forward, grip high, and hop your standing foot just back half a foot or so. Forward splits, bringing your weight directly forward. Work. Weight is back over standing leg. Let's do just a little bit of strengthening before we switch sides. So bend the knee of the leg that's in, step up inside. We're only going to go for 3 of these. So both feet are standing. We start by coming to a squat position, lower. Straighten the legs. And then arm shrink pulls us back up. That was 3. Here's 2. And 1. Good. From here, when you finish that last one, leave left foot inside, step right foot back to floor. And slide the foot up. Make sure the knee is past that line of the fabric so it stays. A light grip about shoulder height. Just a couple of inches will get you right into the hip stretch. Mm-hmm. You're like, I feel it too. 2 more deep, slow breaths. Weight comes over the standing leg. Slide the foot back to the center, extend it forward. If you want the balance help, keep the left hand on, otherwise balance without. Keep the leg goes across and open. And next time it's forward stay. The right hand either grabs the left strand or pushes on the outside of left strand. Left hand opens up. The more we get the leg to try to cross in front of us, the more it's inviting. Release the twist. Hop just slightly in front of thumb line. Test it out. See if the leg stays open to the side. Otherwise, readjust where your standing foot is. And then you find that spot. Both hands bunch up both strands. Right hand up, left hand down. Maybe sinking a little bit more weight to the side. You can feel here how easy it is to sway just by shifting your weight a little bit. So that's definitely that same barn door idea. Good. Leg comes back forward, hop just slightly back. Hands grip high, sink weight forward. And you can feel here, even just the slight separation of the hands brings that wide principle where you're not swaying nearly so much. Okay, so weight over standing side. Let's do just 3 more of those strengthening exercises. Come all the way up to stand, both feet in. Down to squat. Straighten the legs. Arm strength to pull up. 2. And 1. Beautiful. You can either just step down or take one little challenge here, grab tight, try to slowly lower yourself down. Beautiful. So this is perfect. That works. So we'll end up standing in front. The fabric is looped around the hip area. And this will be where we can play with that Venturian man that we practiced earlier. This time it's from the straddle back. So just keep the fabric across the sacrum, 1 foot steps back, lean into it to keep the fabric locked in place. A couple of tiptoes forward takes you to the thumb line so you won't swing. Good, hands start to slide up, knees wide, wrap the feet. And we'll go straight to the Venturian mat. So hands walk up above where the feet are, squeeze the knees into the center, come all the way up. It's an intense massage on the hips. So if you want to practice coming out with me, we're going to try for a twist. So both hands grab on left. Good. Your right shoulder dips forward. And then it's going to be your left knee that grabs both strands of fabric. Good. You got it. Leave your left hand up high. Your right hand grabs for the bottom toes. Let's create another huge shape for just a moment. Beautiful. And then release, like rewrapping the right foot to hang for a moment. So just start to just inch your weight back, rewrap that right foot. You got it, that's it. Good, and we'll try for a Venturian man on the other side just to balance us out. So a crunch to grab the fabric, squeeze the knees into the middle, Continue to walk up. This time, both hands to right. Dip the left shoulder forward. And then right knee grabs both. Good. Left hand to the front. You got it. And whenever you're ready, re-wrap that left foot to hang. This will be some of that inversion time. You can do any variation. So re-wrap your feet, yep, that way. You got it. Otherwise, there's a chance to pop out backwards. Good. So kind of like we were playing with earlier, you can use your hands to accentuate different shapes. If you want twists, or even just an arm stretch, clasping hands behind the back, letting the hands fall away from the glutes. Any of these things that just help your body feel expansive. A huge X shape, very large shape. So lots of things to play with. Even playing with the handstand by wrapping both feet. And then push hands and feet up to come upside down stand. Good. So you have hands underneath you, press, squeeze your feet together. That's it. Good work. So lots of things to play with. I'll let you be upside down as long as you want. This would be kind of the last guided inversion of the day. So no rush to get out at all. Lean back. Like I mentioned, there's no time limit on that last inversion. So this is about the Shavasana point of class. So if you're using some of your Shavasana to just stay upside down, your body needs that extra benefit of just hanging. This is absolutely fine. You can stay all or part of your Shavasana upside down. If at any point you're ready to come to a normal Shavasana, you can lay on the floor if you need to feel grounded, or just like we started class, you can swing the fabric out, come to lay inside again. So whatever Shavasana feels complete for your practice, that's fine to get into. Yeah, sometimes it twists, so just toss it in the middle. Yep, you got it. Especially with the Vitruvian mat, that one really twisted up a couple of times. As we take some of this time just to rest, without cues, without direction, let your body breathe, let it relax. Really let your breath be the thing that's expansive through Shavasana. So if nothing else, the breath is slowly inflating, relaxing through the deep. Inhales and exhales flowing for the next several minutes. And to deepen the inhales. Deepen the exhales. Introduce little movements back to the body. Stretching out in ways that feel really good. As the fetal position can feel really nice, rolling one hip on top of the other hip. Body stays long. Roll in and arch back. Almost like a huge cat cow to really wake up the spine. So maybe 3 or 4 to this side. Eventually switching 3 or 4 to the other direction. Sooner or later, finding a comfortable seated place. It's the heart. Reconnecting with that simple idea that rather than setting up all of our resources in one small line, trying to spread ourselves out, recognizing I can go to this person or place or thing for spiritual, this one for emotional, this one for physical, this one for social. And this way we've spread out our resources. We have so much more to draw on, so we're much less likely for our momentum to swing us completely off the wall. So with this expansiveness to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.